And welcome back to the TV show. I'm Jay Black, joined as always by Angelo, Cataldi, and Rhea Hughes. Guys, how are you?
Great, super. Can't wait to get going. Lots of good TV to talk about.
Lots of stuff to talk about. We got to start by saying Rhea drinking a glass of wine. She is living
a glass
large.
Of wine.
Look at that.
It's been a bit of a rough day, so I said, screw it, I'm having a glass of wine.
Rhea said that this is her happy hour. And I want to say that all the years we worked together, she never had a happy hour. So things must be better now.
She used to call it her melancholy morning, which is not the same thing.
Yes.
But there is a lot to get to, and let's start with a bit of news that I saw when I always do the reading before we do these podcasts of what's going on. And I don't know if you guys are Yellowstone fans. I am not, but it is the biggest show currently airing on any network. I have
never seen it.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it. And as usual, I've seen it for one reason, not Kevin Costner.
Hot redhead?
Kelly Riley. You are correct. Yeah. She is spectacular. And
we got to get a
French movies, Jay. That's how much I love Kelly Riley.
I'm going to start a TV show called Hot Redheads Just Sit Around Talking. And Angelo Cataldi will give it the highest rating ever. But yeah, so there was reports that Kevin Costner is not happy with the Sheridan verse. He doesn't want to be part of Yellowstone anymore. He said that in the second half of the 5th season, he only wants to work 1 week on the entire season. And so what happened was they went out and they got Matthew McConaughey, and they said Matthew McConaughey is going to star in a spin-off show for the Yellowstone, and that what they're doing is they're positioning this spin-off show as either an actual spin-off show in the 900 shows in the extended universe of Yellowstone, or he's going to step in as Kevin Costner's replacement if Kevin Costner wants to leave. So my question to you guys is, number one, why in the world would Kevin Costner shoot himself in the foot like this? Because it's what else did he have going on before Yellowstone? Is he going to go do Draft Day 2? I don't think there was a lot of people that want that.
I hope not.
Yeah. And number
Jay, he's got so much money.
Yeah.
I mean, he may just be like, how old is he? 65?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good question. I'll look it up while we're talking.
He may just be like, I have so much money and I just don't need to work this hard anymore.
68.
Well, yeah. I would like to say this about Kevin Costner. If he is in a movie and we are watching it together, me and my wife, I no longer exist. He is her hall pass. She loves him. The 68 thing, well, she obviously likes older dudes. Look at me.
Clearly.
Right.
But Kevin Costner.
He's still a good-looking man.
The guy is so successful.
Yes.
He's not going to do what they tell him. When you're that successful, you don't do it.
Who do I know like that? Hold on. Let me take a drink of wine. I'll get back to you.
You're better with the wine, Rhea. I like you better with the wine.
Yeah. No, my only thing is, like, I don't understand these guys. I know that he was a big star. He's a big director. I mean, he has his Academy Award-winning movie, which not a lot of guys have. But, his career was fairly stalled before he got on this show. Right. And it's just one of those things where, like, I get it. He's got a head about him where maybe he doesn't get along with the creator. Maybe he doesn't like the direction that it's going in. But, also, you got to say the late period revival of your career has everything to do with this show and everything to do with this creator. So maybe trust him just a little bit is all I'm saying.
But this is not uncommon. It doesn't have to be when you've already had a great career. Shelley Long left Cheers.
Yeah.
I binged that last year. And the best years of Cheers were when Shelley Long was
100%.
No question. And she walked away. Three's Company. What's her name?
Suzanne Summers.
He walked away. David Caruso and NYPD Blue. He walked away. How about this one? This is what they do now. There is a show that's on network TV right now that is a rotting corpse of what was once a good show. And it was the original show, Roseanne, really good. They brought it back. really good.
Yep.
She got in trouble. She became toxic. They killed her off. And now what's left is the rotting corpse.
Right.
None of those people are interesting. I've actually tried it a couple of times. I'm sorry. Give it up. I don't care who's watching it. It is a disgrace to take a good show and turn it into dreck.
Right.
And you know what's crazy, Ange, is I looked up Suzanne Summers because we all know she was on there and she never really did anything.
No.
You know, she has a net worth of $100 million from Thigh Master.
Yeah.
And all the books she did around it.
Wow.
So it wound up actually, and she loves to talk about how her and her 75-year-old husband have sex 3 times a day. Yeah. So life apparently has not been bad to her because she wound up making tons of money. I also looked up real quick, Kevin Costner's net worth, $250 million. He never has to work again. So I get it. I get it.
Fair enough.
That would do it.
I guess the only person who's gotten bigger than that is what? George Foreman, right? With the George Foreman grill.
Geez. Yes.
He's worth $400 billion, I believe, from that bill, if not more. All right. So last week we had a conversation, Rhea, about the Love is Blind, which my wife is still watching. It is torturous. My least favorite thing that I do. But in the lead up to that, we talked about some experience with reality shows. And I have had some experience with reality shows, and I know you have as well. Yep. And I just want to take a moment for our listeners, because the biggest lie on television is putting reality in front of reality shows. They are more fictional than anything that you're watching that is called a sitcom or a drama. What was your experience, Rhea? What were you on, and what was it like?
So I'm going to say it was before Clark was born. So it was, God, it's, I mean, he's almost 14. So it was 15 to 17 years ago. I did an episode of Trading Spaces. And I have to say, I loved it. It was when I was living in Queen Village, and they did a great job. But here's the crazy thing. I was a massive fan of Trading Spaces.
Yeah.
And it was like you and a neighbor, and I did it with my best friend, Mary, who at the time lived next door to me. And, you trade it and you do all the work. And they had, the people up till the night before the reveal till like 3 a.m. So I get in this, and they bring in the 2 hosts who do it with us. And I forget, the one guy's name was Carter, who might be one of the most beautiful men I've ever seen in my life. He's the carpenter, but he's like a man, and also super nice guy. They come in, they literally would tape, like, okay, Rhea, you've got the what is it, the saw or whatever like that, which I almost hurt people with. Let's get you doing it. I did it for like 2 minutes. They would get me doing it, cutting a piece of thing, sewing, blah, blah, blah. Then they had crews of 15 for each house. A crew of 15 people on Mary's house, crew of 15 on mine. The last night was a Saturday. Saturday night. Sunday would be the big reveal that they would tape. The producer I had, who I loved, worked on Deadliest Catch. He looks at me and goes, listen, it's my birthday tonight. So we're going across the street for Pete's sake, and getting loaded. So the crew, we're finishing at like 10:30. The crew's going to finish up. I said, fantastic. Mary, unfortunately, did not have as nice a producer, and actually was right. But they have crews in.
Yeah.
So like, although you do some of the work, the reason that they look so great is not because of the homeowners.
Right.
Wow. One thing sticks out. You were a fan of the show before you were on it.
Yeah.
You were as big a fan after you were on it.
Well, I was for one reason, because I just like I'm a HD, you know me, I'm a home improvement person. I love those kind of shows. Now I have different stuff that I watch. I now look for tells. I was like, how do you know when a homeowner is really crazy? So I look for those that, like, they're like, yeah, if they keep changing stuff. So they gave me kind of a lot of background on it. I am still a fan, but I now know that if there are these shows where they're competition, that the homeowner is doing very little of the work.
Wow. Interesting.
I had a brief experience with 2 reality shows. The first one was the 2 Coreys, which was Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, because I knew their manager, and they wanted to end the season on a high note. So they had my writing partner and I pitched them an idea for a sequel to License to Drive that they agreed to be in, and they celebrated it like it was a big deal. We came up with the pitch for that show. There was no money behind it. Nobody was going to make that. And they acted like it was a big deal. So that was my first one. The second one, I was on Last Comic Standing season 2.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
No, listen, Angelo, I don't talk about it because it was a brutal experience. Here's what happened. So I go in and it's just the audition process. It's like no audience, just producers in the background. I start into my act. I get about no more than 90 seconds in. And the producer gives me a cut sign and goes, "Hey, we're sorry. We have too many of your kind of comic."
Oh,
what is your kind of comic?
Well, I believe straight white guy, because
I was about to say that's what it was.
Right. And which is fine. I get that.
Yes,
we want to have diversity. You're putting together a cast. I wasn't mad about that. I was just mad they cut me off. Like, they didn't even give me the opportunity to tell me I was a bad comedian. They go, "There's too many of your type." So I go, "Really?" Like that. And they go, "Yeah, sorry." And I'm like, "All right." And I leave. I never think anything of it, except when they're airing Last Comic Standing, all of a sudden my phone blows up and everybody's like, "We just saw you get demolished on Last Comic Standing." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So I go and I watch the episode. It's me starting into my act, cuts to Richard Belzer, who was not there, who goes, "I really like you. I want to pass you through." And then it cuts back to me going, "Really?" Then it cuts back to Richard Belzer going, "No." And then it cuts to me walking off all upset.
Oh my
So
God.
it made it look like I failed miserably, which is, I get it. It's TV. I understand. But that honestly broke my heart, because there was, you can't call everyone you know and explain to them. No, it was just, they're messing with reality. Richard Belzer even was there. I got me so upset, guys. I'm still upset about Richard Belzer.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, when Richard Belzer died, I was a big fan of his, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm real sad they died," but he did, he messed me up on that. He wasn't even involved. They just cut to him doing that. Some producer did it. So if you're watching a reality show, any reality show, there is manipulation going on all over.
Wow.
That's phenomenal. What a story. Wow.
Yeah. One thing I will tell you guys that isn't manipulated is the love around the world for not just this segment of the podcast, but for Rhea Hughes in general.
Thank you.
As the third highest rated TV review podcast in Italy and India. If you're a country that starts with I expect Iceland to be next. I want all of the countries on the Iberian Peninsula going to love us. We have British Corner. Rhea, what do you got for us this week?
So I'm going to do two really quick, because I'm a huge fan of Harlan Coben novels. I've read them all. I don't really like his sports agent ones. I like his standalones because they're mysteries. He primarily does mysteries that involve every single person, whether you're the most boring suburban mom, boring person, who lives, out in the woods. You have a secret in your past. And that's really what they're all on. So he's in the middle of he's doing 14 of his novels. He's turning into series for Netflix, which means he's making buku kind of bucks.
Yeah.
But he did two that I liked: Stay Close and The Stranger. Now, Stay Close is it's three people. So it weaves together three stories. Megan, suburbanite with 3 kids, a husband she's super in love with, except 17 years ago, she was a stripper. Ray is this photographer who can't find the girlfriend that he lost 17 years ago. And then the detective who's weaved into this, investigating these disappearances 17 years apart. So it's this, crazy secret they have there. But I will tell you, it's highly binge worthy. They really, each episode, as they're trying to figure out what happens, is Megan is at her daughter's tennis tournament and she spots a person from her past. And that's kind of how it all starts to get together. There's notes left at her house. She has a scene where she goes to this lawyer who was her lawyer back when she was a stripper. I should have written this guy's name down. He's unbelievably awesome. He's a massive drunk. I'll take a sip for him. But his character was really great. She's leaving there, and these guys, young kids, try to rob her, and her old instinct, and she beats the crap out of them. And it was like my favorite scene. So I really like that. And when I'm saying, on Rotten Tomatoes, that got 83%, 72% for audience. So people really liked it. Very bingeable. The next one is Stay Close. They're both 8 episodes. This was interesting. because there was a wide disparity between critics and audience. 92 for critic, 53 for audience. Now, this was Stay Close. This is a man's at his kid's soccer tournament and a young woman, very attractive. She's, Jay, you might know her from Game of Thrones. She was in season 6, Ornella.
Oh,
She
here,
was
I'll look her up while you're
Hannah
talking.
John came and she comes up to him and says, I have a secret about your wife. The miscarriage that she had 2 years ago was a lie. She was never pregnant. And then she walks away. He goes to confront his wife. The wife disappears. This young woman proceeds to go to everybody in this small English town, start telling them that she has secrets on them. One woman who owns a nice business, she says, your daughter's a high-class escort making her way through college. I want 10,000 pounds. All of these, she does it to a lot of people. Here was my problem with this one. There were too many. The premise was great. Somebody walks up and tells you a killer secret, and then they just walk away. They involved like 8 people. So it gets too voluminous, if you know what I mean. But I will say the Ray Harlan Coben, who's like a senior producer or whatever on these, you keep wanting to go to the next episode. You're hooked. So even though the audience wasn't crazy about it, I read some reviews. They go, I hate it. And I've watched every single episode. This one was just a little bit too, but he's done a lot and I like them. Probably because I like his books and I recommend it. So it's Stay Close and The Stranger on Netflix.
And that's Hannah Waddingham, who played Septa Unella, but also the statuesque owner of the Greyhounds on Ted Lasso is who you might remember her by. Yeah.
I forgot that one. So yeah. So but it's really good. And like I said, he's a great author and he's got a lot more. He actually has 3 of them, but they're in foreign language. He's got a Polish one, a French one, and an Italian one, I believe.
We were just talking about how much money Kevin Costner has. It sounds to me like this guy has Costner money times 10. That's a ton of dough. All right, great. So what do you have for us this week on Teen Corner?
Here was the interesting thing. So Clark is on spring break. So he is down the shore with my brother. They're having a lot of fun. You know, somebody's got to work.
Yeah.
So I said to him, I said, hey, I called him and I said, I need, what teen show you've been watching? He actually watched a show that I watched 1 episode of. He's watched 2. Atypical, available on Netflix. 4 seasons, 8 to 10 episodes. It's about a young man in high school who's on the autism spectrum. He's got, he lives with his mom and his dad, who are Angelo, who are played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, who we all remember from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's interesting to see her as the mother of a teenager. And Michael Rappaport. So they're the parents. He's got a sister, and he's decided that he wants to start dating. So he's going to his therapist because he's on the spectrum. Any kind of loud noises, any kind of craziness in his life really just uproot him. And you see it happening. They're not shy about showing it. He's got a bit of a crush on his therapist, which is kind of interesting. His best friend Zahid takes this one. Clark told me about this. And so it might be a little bit old for like a 12, 13-year-old, but maybe 16, 17-year-old Zahid wants him to know what it will look like if he gets to second base with the girl he's dating. So he's 18, but he is still in high school. Takes him to a strip club. And a stripper takes pity on him and she shows him her boobs. So, he could see what they look like. But Clark was like, that's kind of gross.
You said stripper, but what you meant to say was hero. That hero.
Exactly.
Did that
Yes,
for
it's
him.
exactly what she is. Well, Clark really liked it. He gave it a 7.4. It did really well on Rotten Tomatoes. 91 it got on Rotten Tomatoes. Clark's best, this is now that I get his perspective, he liked that the kids in high school actually looked like they were high schoolers. Right. That was one thing that he said to me, but he gave it a 7.4. It's a nuclear family dealing with a kid who has autism and how you're normal some days and not normal other days, but really none of us have a normal family. And that was kind of the thing about it.
Rhea, I watched all 4 seasons of it. I think it's fantastic.
Oh, good.
The kid that plays the autistic kid is either actually autistic or is an amazing actor.
He's Keir. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Keir, Keir Gilchrist. Fantastic.
Is he not unbelievably good in that?
Really good. Yep.
Now, I don't know if he's got those tendencies. He was just phenomenal in it. And you're right, Jennifer Jason Leigh. I hadn't seen her in so many years.
How good is she as the mom?
He's really good at it. It's really good. I can recommend it also. I'm in the 90% that like
There
that.
you go.
I will say, Rhea, I'd love for you to show Clark an episode of Beverly Hills 90210, just when they cast actors who were in their 30s to play teenagers.
Yes.
You remember Gabrielle Carter played one of the
Yeah,
teenagers?
she was like 31.
Yeah, and by the end of that run, she was in her early 40s playing a 20-something. Like, listen, she looked good for her age, but she just looked like a middle-aged mom that was hanging out with these kids. It was
I'm
ridiculous.
gonna make Clark watch 90210 for next week and get his opinions on it.
I'd love to hear it. All right, Angelo, what did you watch this week?
I got a movie. Oh my God. I actually want to
You're
watch
on
it
fire,
again.
Ange. I gotta tell you, your last couple of recommendations, and you and I don't share the same stuff, I've loved.
Rhea, I sift through a lot of garbage to get to the good stuff, just so you know. And this is nuts good. It's called Missing. It is on demand right now. It's a major movie release. And I got to tell you, now maybe it just appealed to me more because I'm not great on the computer, but it's the story of a girl, a teenage girl, whose mom goes missing. And this girl conducts her investigation. 90% of the entire movie is a computer screen with her using everything in the arsenal that you can in a computer to try to get information about her mother. And we got a third of the way through, and I put it on pause. And I said to my wife, who's a computer scientist, can you really do all this stuff on a computer? In the movie, this woman is finding cameras and finding her mother in another country because there's a camera where she was walking.
And there are cameras everywhere, and they're used. And there was a robbery about a year ago across the street from my house, and the detective left a card in my thing going, "Hey, I need your footage."
Yeah.
I mean,
but apparently a lot of this stuff is accessible to anyone, especially if you know how to work passwords on the internet. This movie is mind-boggling. Now, at the end, they always have to give you a little more than they need to make it dramatic. But I'm telling you something. I was totally, I can't remember being that involved in a movie in years. And my wife said the same thing. My wife normally falls asleep. She was wide awake the whole time. Gail was wide awake.
Angela,
it's missing. It's missing. It's on demand everywhere. I think you'll love it. It's really good.
So I have good news for you, Angelo. You're going to be very happy with me. Missing is part of a larger cinematic universe, and there are two movies that take place in the same universe. One of them is done the exact same way, all on a computer screen, exactly the same. The first one is called Searching, which is done in 2018. And the second one is called Run. I have not seen Run. I saw Searching in the movie theater, and it was phenomenal. Same thing you're saying. It's all part of this guy. I'm going to say his name wrong. It's Anish Chaganty, who
Are they connected? Like, should you watch them in order?
So they said that if you watch Missing, there are all sorts of references to Searching and Run throughout.
Yeah.
But I don't know about Run, but I know for a fact Searching is exactly the same as Missing, where everything's done on the computer, the whole mystery.
I'm on it.
Look up those two. You're going to be very happy.
I didn't know you could do all this stuff on the computer. I just thought it was for information and porn.
And this podcast, which if you're using for porn, don't. What are you doing? All right. Last thing I wanted to talk about, because we are all, I think all three of us, big fans of Quinta Bunsen. Am I saying her name correctly?
God, yes. Yes, Quinta Bunsen.
Who is the creator of Abbott Elementary, a show that we all like.
I love. I don't know, Angelo. You don't like it as much?
I don't love the show, but I love her. She is so talented, and Sharon Ralph too. The other woman, they're both amazing.
Cheryl Lee Ralph.
And
she's awesome.
If it's Philly, it's got us. Come on,
right? Well, she was on Saturday Night Live this past weekend, and I thought it was one of the best episodes in a really long time. I thought she absolutely knocked it out of the park. You agree, Angela? You're applauding.
100%. It was their best episode in a couple of years, minimum. Yeah,
and sometimes
was so, I swear to God, she wrote it because it was so well done.
Yeah.
When she referenced about having to tell her mom that she's like, out in the garden, but it's Oprah's garden, then she goes, then I'm having dinner with this guy, and it's it's Obama. I mean, that was awesome.
The whole thing was the whole hour and a half was great. Right to the end, where normally the last couple of bits aren't that great. Right. It was all amazingly good.
It's good sketches throughout, the level of writing, even the news, which my favorite moment of the week was Michael Che told the audience for April Fools not to laugh at anything that Colin Jost said. Yeah. And for the first few minutes, Colin Jost is starting to flop sweat. Like every joke.
It was great.
And then Michael Che admits, hey, I told him that. And the explosion of laughter in my house, my son and I were watching it. It was just phenomenal. So we just wanted to shout her out because it's
there's one other thing I want to say about SNL, because I even like the musical guest, Lil Yachty.
No way.
I'm telling you, Rhea, they did a 6-minute music offering, and the first one they did, it was beyond great. It was a woman. The last half of the song was a woman howling without using words. And I'm telling you, it was the best SNL maybe since the 70s.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Really good.
The cast is really coming together. My favorite, Bowen Yang, is just such a talented guy. I can't wait for him to finish up that run on the show and go on and make like 10 movies, because he's going to be great.
He's a big star. Big star.
Absolutely. All right, Angelo, what did we cover this week? What is our
All right, let me try to go through this. Yellowstone is on Peacock, but it does not even appear that Kevin Costner is watching it anymore. Use your own. And all the other shows I'm not going to promote because they're, as I pointed out, rotting carcasses. I will say that we had a couple of shows that I definitely, Harlan Coben's, all of his stuff is on Netflix. And the two that Rhea's recommending is Stay Closer and The Stranger.
Stay Close and The Stranger.
Right. I'm sorry. Okay. And also Trading Spaces versus Last Comic Standing. They both fudge it, but Trading Spaces probably does it less. Right, Rhea? So you can check that out. Where is that, Rhea, Trading Spaces?
You know, I don't know if it's still, I don't think it's still on. It may have come back.
It might be on HGTV Plus. Let me look it up real fast.
Okay. SNL, of course, is on NBC. And that would mean it's also on Peacock. Also on Peacock, I believe there was something else on there. Atypical is on Netflix. Searching and Run are probably also available the same way as Missing is. They're all on demand. If you get on demand, you can get it that way.
Trading Spaces is on TLC and Discovery Channel and Destination America, but I don't believe it's on anymore.
Oh wow!
No, it stopped in 2019, according to this. So
but maybe you can find a rerun of me Trading Spaces.
Hold on, I gotta know. Do you get residuals when they run it?
No, you never get paid for anything. You actually you have to be very careful. Like I had to submit something for my taxes.
Oh, you
back
did?
then. Yeah, okay. I did. Yeah.
But do you still get checks?
No, I never got a single check. You don't get a check as a reality TV person.
I enjoy that. I was on the Goldbergs and I still get checks.
Yes, I know. I'm aware of that.
They're only like 12 cents now, but still.
Every once in a while, I get a check for like $1.07 for one of the movies that I did, and I just showed it to my wife and said, "You hitched your wagon to a star." Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, if you rate and review us on iTunes, it helps people find the show. If you leave us a comment on our YouTube channel, we would do our very best to reply to you and get your suggestion on the air. Tell a friend about the show. It really helps us grow. We appreciate you joining us every week, and we'll see you next week.